We are live streaming. Oh, this is awesome. We made it happen. We made it happen.
I need power to my computer. It's gonna die. Uh-oh.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first live stream out
Live
here
streaming?
on
Oh, this is
YouTube.
awesome. We made it happen.
We made it happen.
We did. Power to my computer. It's gonna die.
Give us just a few moments for William to power
Welcome,
up.
everyone.
Welcome to our first live stream out here on YouTube.
Awesome. We made it happen.
We made it happen.
We did. Power to my computer. It's gonna die. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah.
I had to kill the mute on YouTube Live because
it
was feeding back at like 10 seconds later, and it was like, what? I just said that.
We are good.
What are we talking about tonight? Doing an emergency plug-up session here.
Okay, you get yourself plugged in, and I'm gonna bring up our topic for tonight because we're gonna be talking about the drift tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna do some drifting tonight.
We are gonna drift tonight. So
well, we won't just get out of the drift. Is what we want to do.
we want to get out of the drift. Exactly. We do want to get out of the drift. We don't want to be in the drift. It's a place we've been for a while, and we don't want to be there any longer. So we're going to talk tonight on how we can get out of that drift.
The drift we don't want to be in. There's some cool drifts you want to be in, but not this one. Not for life.
Right. I'm just glad the snow drifts are over. I hope they're over. Today was beautiful here in Missouri. It was a gorgeous 60 some degrees today. I think we're supposed to get to 70 tomorrow. So
yeah, we're about the same here in Tennessee. So next door pretty much.
I am all about it. All about it. So welcome
absolutely.
Everyone. William is plugging in tonight. Let me get my cords out of the way. Tonight we're going to be talking about the drift we didn't feel. So pull up your coffee or hot cocoa, water, and let's have a conversation tonight.
We're flowing down the river and didn't feel it?
No, we are flowing down a river. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So let's get our conversation going tonight. Let me get myself ready here as well. I wasn't as prepared either, so I apologize, everybody. But we are in season 2, episode 1. So welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to a new year. This time on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And welcome back to Mindful Nuggets podcast. We're excited to be here for this next season. We got a lot to cover, new stuff, and a new way of being. And so we were talking about earlier, Michelle and I, were when words move and alignment breaks, and that happens in a drift called life. It's not anything political. It's not a snow drift. It's not reactive. It's not culture or commentary for entertainment. We're just talking about something that's very subtle that most of us don't feel happen until we get so far off the mark. We kind of look up and say, what just happened?
That's exactly what happens too, because then all of a sudden life comes upon us and we're like, wow, how did we get here?
Yeah. I mean, even words from probably 30 years ago do not have the same meaning as they used to.
No, they don't.
And what's that about? And how come that shifts in such a way that when we put words together, that they have a totally different meaning today in an understanding of what those words is. I'm communicating to you in a word that's 30 years old in my meaning to a younger generation that has a totally different understanding of that word. And there seems to be some misalignments going on with that. And
this younger generation has a much different conversation than we've had.
They take a whole different perspective of the conversation away with them, and it's not the intent of the conversation we had in mind to begin with. So that's definitely off the mark. But those things drift, and we just don't know it over time.
Yeah.
And really, this episode's awareness about where we are in our life and present, and understanding the words and being able to communicate such a way that they line up with each other and they line up with the word truly meant when it was given to us. in the first place. And, God created the word. Well, he is the word. And so what is the root word? And so when we communicate that way and understand it in the other side when we communicate, then we have something that we can go back to grassroots and understand, this is what it really means. So we don't get
There's a
so off.
misinterpretation along the way. And
Yeah.
that's what we really want to dive into is how it is what it is, not what it is today, but what it was and how it still should be that way today. So, um, the biggest issue is that we want to address the fact that you're sitting in the drift, maybe not recognizing you're sitting in the drift, and we want to help pull you out of that drift and get you moving and being in alignment. So that is what we're going to talk about tonight, everyone. Welcome back to the Mindful Nuggets, Season 2, Episode 1. So you just had a prelude to what that discussion is going to look like tonight. Make sure you're jumping into the comments, being able to get those answered tonight. And William, you've got YouTube pulled up on your side to see that, right? If not, I'll pull it up on mine.
I do. Let me
Okay.
click. Let me
You just need to
see.
go to the live and you'll be able to see comments coming in.
Okay, I'm not seeing, just one watching, start streaming. Okay. So I mean, this is just getting going.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If you see
um,
anything in those comment sections, just chime in so we can answer their questions for them
now,
because we want to do that.
folks, we're new to this streaming on Zoom, and we just wanted to go live before we were pre-recording the Zoom sessions, and then we'd put them out. And right now it'd be live so we can actually interact with you as we go along and have these conversations. And it's important to us. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
get your comments in there so we can actually talk about those. And as we go along in the season, we're going to look and see what people are really looking for or something that we can actually talk about on this episode. That's kind of the most popular topics and comments that you bring to the table.
So we
So,
do have a whole series planned for you the entire year. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, also here on YouTube, as you will have daily messages from us. We have our 30-second mindset shift. It is a 30-second bit to give you just a little bit of information and knowledge on how you can shift your mindset based on a topic. We look forward to you joining those bits with us and giving us your feedback on those as well. So come on in, join us here each week. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And we're going to live stream out here on YouTube. So like William said, this is new to us. We are doing our very first live stream. So bear with us, but we do encourage you to be here in our comments, asking questions, and being a part of our community as well. We have a very amazing, wonderful community over on Facebook, and we want you to be there. So let's go ahead and continue our conversation with the drift. And Mr. William, let's talk about the language, and how that actually occurs in the drift. The language drift is not random, right? And it occurs in four different types of, segments. So you want to dive into that, like the first, part of that, the semantic drift and how that actually, plays into fear and love and freedom. Let's start with that.
hmm. Well, what is love, for one? How does a person define love? Biblically, it is unconditional love. It's pure, it's unconditional. It can be tough, but it's not just an emotion as we view it today.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And so that's one thing. Fear, I think, was the first one you mentioned, wasn't it?
Yep, fear was the first one. Yeah, because that's usually where the first piece of the puzzle comes in, right? Is that fear factor.
All right. I mean, let's look at it this way. Would you let's interact. So,
Yeah,
Michelle, about
absolutely.
3 or 4 years ago, what did fear mean to you?
Fear to me about 3 or 4 years ago meant a lot because that 3 or 4 years ago, I was stepping into some new areas. I had decided to go 100% back into my nutrition field. I had also made a decision and that was 5 years ago, that I was going to buy a home. I was going to get out of the apartment. We were going to get rid of the apartment. We were going to move into a house. We were going to buy a house. And that was really fearful because my husband did not want to do that. He was cool being in an apartment. He was okay with it. He didn't want that home ownership. So it was scary. I was going to step out of my comfort
Okay.
zone. I was going to step out of my bubble and I was going to make things happen. I was going to take action.
So really, your nervous system was reacting
Oh,
to
it was very
like more of
reactive.
a primal fear, a reaction to that. Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
if I fall, I'm going to die, or I'm going to
Yeah.
get chewed up, or things like that. So
Yeah.
that's a primordial fear that we go around this life. A lot of us have that anchor, and that creates a lot of anxiety.
Very
And
much.
but fear is more of a it's biblically given is it's a reverence, it's awe, it's alignment with authority, not so much the primordial fear. So we got same word, two different ways of viewing this word, and then
Yeah.
also understand respond or react to. Because
Hmm.
the primordial one is more of a reaction. You see something scary, you don't run from it, or you
Absolutely.
don't go near it. And that takes a lot of bravery to overcome, to step out and say, challenge that fear. Where there's a different fear, like I was saying, awe and the respect is meeting someone that is way above your pay grade by magnitudes and is in authority and control, i.e., being God.
Right.
He brought you in here, he can take you out, type of authority.
Well, that's exactly
Okay,
true. He brought
but
you in, he can
but
take you out.
right, right, he can, and he's done that before,
Hmm.
to some serious rebellious, you know,
Yeah.
characters along in the Bible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a fear of respect that you understand who's in charge,
Yeah.
who's the master, and who is the person that is like, yes sir, yes,
Right.
fine, I agree, because he's sovereign, we're not. And so when we come before something like that, that's more of an acknowledgement than it is a reaction. It's just a response to the
Hmm.
proper authority. And I can tell you, for us thinking we're in control, we're not, from my experience with God. So it's definitely, so there's a big difference. There's
I
a big
haven't
difference
found
in
myself being
ability.
in that control. He's in control, so he's kind of telling me which way it's
Right?
going to go.
So where do you exist in the word fear, and what
Mm.
does it mean to you? Is really the big question, because going through life, we're fearful. If we don't have a grounding, we don't have an assurance in the one that we should have the word fear associated to, because he's the one that protects us if we allow him to be in our life. Nothing will happen to us unless it's allowed, and there's things we have to go through, and that's
Right.
fine. But I'd rather have that and then have the other fear where I'm afraid to do anything. I'm afraid to step out. I'm afraid to take a risk. I'm afraid to live.
And why
Because,
are we? That's a
well, if
great question.
because if I fall or capitulate, there's no safety net. What happens if I fail? Is the question. What happens if I mess this up? What happens if somebody's gonna come after me?
Mm. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Versus,
Yeah.
I trust that I am protected. I trust that God's promises are going to take care of this situation.
We know
So
that he
it,
will.
yeah, well, it's the child and parent relationship.
Hmm.
When the
Yeah.
child is out on its own, gets lost in the woods, has to deal with that on their own, and that gets extremely scary, because I don't know where to go, where to turn. I may not get to see, my house again where I live, or anything. So that's galvanizing fear.
Okay, well,
Um,
let's talk about the love then that,
yeah,
once we come through the fear, let's talk about the love part of that because, love means many different things to many different people. So we can go back to the biblical side of it and start there, and then
but
let's talk about today's
sure.
side of it.
Well, the very first thing is, how do you know what the word means,
Mm,
right? Okay.
Great question.
How do you experience love? In the world, like you said, it's got different facets about it, different meanings of
There's
what love is.
different ways to
Conditional
experience
love,
love. Yes.
conditional love. If you do this, I love you, type of thing. Emotional love is a chemical response to
Right.
that. A lusty love,
Mm-hmm.
that thing, where you're just
A lot of those running around.
yeah, just fixated on something that
Right.
looks attractive to
Right.
whomever, and that could be a very different thing. But what about the love and surrender, the love that supersedes
Mhm.
any other? And how would you know love to begin with unless it's been shown to you?
Well, that's
And
just
this,
it. I think that's
yeah,
where love gets a little
it's
misconstrued because
distorted. Yes,
it's
yeah, it's very distorted
many
because
people understand love to be one way because that's how they were raised.
that's their that's their environmental conditioning for
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Right.
if you look at what God said, I first loved you.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so what that means is I showed you my love for you
Mm-hmm.
because when you're lost, I'm a lamp to your feet that guides you. When you're lost, call on me
Right.
and I
Right.
will guide you. All right. So what we see here is the fear dissipating because we have a source that is supernaturally going to guide us and protect us when we don't know what we're doing, where we're going, or don't understand. Even when we don't understand with Him, we still have the trust and assurance on it.
That's
Right.
true.
Now, a lot of people are going to challenge. Well, a lot of people get hurt. A lot of people, things that shouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the question is, do you know God?
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you personally know God? All right. And so that's the first requirement. Do you talk to Him daily? Do you seek Him daily? Because if you're doing that, then something that happens is meant to happen for you to learn something, but not to hurt you. He's
Right.
not out there to hurt you. But He's definitely out there to love on you. And so when you have that love of complete unconditional love, love when He disciplines you, love when He blesses you, love when He has mercy on you, love when He embraces you, love when it opens the door to show you through when all things look dark. All that is Him. His first fruit given to us is His love. So when we go through life again, if we're not grounded into His word, then we operate on a system of the world which is fearful and
It's
is not
very
the
true.
same.
It's very true. So let's talk about
So,
freedom then. I
well,
like this discussion because we had it we had it last night and you really dive deep into freedom because we asked the question, what is freedom? What is the definition to freedom? Because here's another word. I mean, guys, we're talking about the drift here, okay? We're talking exactly about how
well,
words the way they were then are not the way they are now. There's a hundred different, ways to love. There's 100 different ways to freedom. There's 100 different ways to, fear. So let's talk about freedom because this one's another one that gets, really lengthy in other
all
ways.
right,
This
let's
is
go
where
back a
we're
few
grounded to
years.
be.
To everybody that watches this, Michelle and I've been through a lot. We both have been challenged by death,
Yes, we have.
and yeah, and we've gone through a lot that changed our life. That's why we say it's life's next chapter, because it transformed the entire way we view
Yes, it
what
did.
was the world's way and what God has for His way designed for us to live. And it's a totally different operating system that most people don't get to experience. And that's why we're here to share those experiences. So you open up and be aware there's much more than you realize. And you're caught in some things that you probably don't realize either that is harmful. And so if we can change the trajectory for a moment in the way you think, and look at the belief systems and see if they're supporting you or causing you to repeat and sabotage and
Right.
keeping you from your true purpose in life, then it's worth listening and see what we have to share and dig deeper because we're open to those conversations definitely. So, what is freedom? Okay, so we're going back and back up to freedom. What was freedom to you about 3 years ago? Again, let's go back to the same time frame.
Freedom to me about 3 to 4 years ago. What I mean, to keep in mind that was around the COVID time.
Right.
So
So big
during
fear,
that change of
break time,
things, yeah,
big fear,
yeah,
big fear for a lot of
huge
people.
fear was going
Absolutely.
on during that time. Yeah, and I was making shifts during that time frame too. I was making some serious shifts because we all were, right? Things had shut down, things were no longer, taking place. So you had to make shifts in order to get your income coming back in. So there was huge fear. But I did realize that there was a certain type of freedom that I could have. There was things that I could do now that were needed, and I could make that happen now and create an income out of it. So there, but still I was out of alignment. I was greatly out of alignment. And I know you're going to step into this. So um I wasn't in the right direction at that time, but I did create something and I did move forward. I had to step out of the bubble. I had to
Right.
really go out of my way, out of my comfort zone. So with that being said, freedom to me was, being able to um, open my mind to see new things, new opportunities, new possibilities, and know that there was a whole new world out there. But I was still out of alignment. There was an alignment check that needed to take place, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize it
Well,
at the time.
we'll come back to alignment drift that here in a little bit because all of us are alignment to some extent, and it happens. It's going to
Right,
happen because we live in a world of sin and in disobedience, and that's a dissonance that causes us to drift away, and it requires constant effort to go back into the truth, into the way that we're supposed to be with Him.
right.
But freedom. Okay, for me, all right, I was chasing after having autonomy. I was chasing after being independent. I didn't need anybody. All right. I could do it on my own. I was my own owner of my own business. And I had the ability to find what I wanted to do with my time and how I wanted to spend my life, type of freedom. And I figured if I had enough money that I could be financially free and I'll get my time back. And then I will work until it happens, and then I can do what I wanted and didn't have to work like that. So
Right.
that's pretty much like the worldview. Get the money out of the way, get my time freedom back, live it the way I want to. Well, I can tell you that's selfish. Number one, it's usually selfish. Two, that you're never going to get to the freedom that you're thinking about because it's not the right fruit. And it's also buying time. But what do you got? What's it going to cost you to buy that time
Mm,
along the way?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you got the money, how does that feel? With all these things around you, does it quench the thirst that you have? According to Will Smith, he has fame, fortune, all that stuff. He said it doesn't matter how much more money you make or how many more things you get, it's never going to satisfy you.
Well, and think about that. Are you really going to be satisfied just because you set out your goal was to have X amount of dollars? Okay, you met that goal. Awesome. How truly happy are you, and how much freedom do you really have?
When is enough is enough.
Right. That's the question. That is the question.
Okay. But things don't bring peace. I can tell you freedom is going to be when God breaks the chain of things that tie you into sin. The lust
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
lust, the greed, the ownership, the possessions, all those things are not fruit.
Yeah.
They don't bear anything that's going to last, that's going to bring you something fulfilled in your life. I can tell you, true freedom is in Christ. It always has been because it is breaking the chain. When you're out there serving and helping other people, just take a simple example. I feel the best like if I go to a soup kitchen and I put food together or I serve somebody and bring them some soup. And I
Mhm.
sit down and have a conversation with, or I do a prison ministry. And I'll go and I'll sit down and have a conversation, break bread with them on it. I get fulfilled from them learning from their experience and their aha moments and how they came free inside locked doors. and be able to express where I've been and relate to that. I feel free when that happens. I feel filled up from that, and I don't need things. Right?
Now
So
remember, he can give you things or he can take things, and you're not going
well,
to
he's
take
done
your
that.
home to the grave, and you're not taking your car to the grave.
No,
So let's just be
none of that.
real.
None of that. Yeah. So it's not about things. And here's my big question to you: if heaven's got gold streets, gates, pearly gates, and all those things are highly valued here. So
Yeah.
what are the treasures in heaven, and what is freedom in heaven?
Mm.
There's
Well, I'd
no
love to hear
more.
the answer to that from everybody out there. I would love to hear that. What is freedom to you up in heaven? What does that look like?
So
Let us know.
so here's the big picture, and it's not intuitive in the way. Freedom to man is self-ruling.
Mm, mm.
Freedom in heaven to Christ is complete surrender to Him. In Him, I am free.
Yeah.
I have no burdens. I have nothing that's dragging me down. I'm not cumbersome with things that I have to be responsible for, take care of, replace any of that. Right? Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have things,
Sure. We all like to have things.
but where you think you're free, you're actually worshiping this entrapped you, and that's the lie that most people fall for
Yeah.
because you idolize those things, and that brings no peace, no happiness, no fruit. When you start bearing fruit, you have the fruit, and that sets you free because that fruit's only given to you through Christ. So it's a huge difference. And a lot of people will make a bunch of money, a lot of people won't. Right? But if I can live in this life happy, continuously growing, being a service to somebody else, and I go to sleep at night, my heart is full, and I sleep in my peace, and I wake up excited for the next day. I can tell you that's freedom.
That is. That is freedom. And I never realized just how out of alignment I was until you and I a couple of years ago, when we went to leadership and that's how we got acquainted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my alignment was so, I know we're going to talk about this even more so. I was so out of alignment, not realizing just how far over here I was, and then made that commitment to even step even more into fear, of going back deeper into my relationship with God. But it's been the best decision that I've ever made because I do go to bed now with peace and I have more patience and my faith is much deeper than it's ever been. But I will have to say it is really nice going to bed knowing that he's got it and I just have to listen. I have to be patient. I have to, be able to hear, but the only way I can hear is if I'm in my committed action to him and in his presence every single day. So
Right.
that has been a life change.
Well, and again, surrender is power, folks,
It
not
is.
surrender and submit in that physical world. See, this is another word drift
Yeah.
is the scenario where I
Yeah.
say surrender. That means be still, quit striving, let go, not in control. Leave that to God. He's the one in control, not me.
Yeah.
So when I let all that go, now I'm not having these behaviors that want to manipulate, take charge of, force. It becomes natural because I realize I'm just one person out of several billion of people on this planet. And I'm a fool if I think that I have any control over that many people.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not even control of the universe aligning of the planets, the gravity, the sun. That is all his
It
domain.
is. That's all his,
Right. My responsibility is to trust and obey and love him because I choose to. When I choose to, I surrender the control and I become obedient and I take his lead because he knows he designed me.
Right.
He
Right.
blueprinted me. He signed off on the plans.
That's true. Very true.
I don't know what they were as I go along in life, but here's what I do know. that the more I follow him, the closer I get to this purpose, and he will put me where I need to be, so I do get fulfilled and I do find meaning in my life.
And let's talk about putting you where you need to be, because let's talk about the moral drift now. Now this takes us into the moral side of the drift, okay? So this is the subtler, watch the progression, sin, mistake, preference, and then you have repent, and then you have reflect. I'm hitting you with all of it. Reconsider. Then you have obedience, you have compliance, you have oppression. So let's talk about the moral drift. Let's get into it.
All
So,
right, well,
has
all
that
right.
word changed over the years?
What, the moral
The definition of that word, has it really changed over the years? More meaning the
morality?
moral drift.
Well, what is morality? Who sets the compass?
Mm,
Culture or the
society.
truth? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you follow? What's the truth? Well, let's establish the truth. None of us create truth. We create our own truth, but that's what we
I was
believe to
going to
be
say we
true.
create our own truth.
Okay.
We
And
don't
then
necessarily.
and we convince ourselves that this is the truth,
We
but a lot
do.
of times it's not.
That we do.
It may be a partial truth. It may not be truth at all. And it may change. The truth may change over time
Yeah.
because things change. All right. So what applied back then is a revelation. It doesn't apply anymore. So it's wrong. It's false. But what is the truth? Well, the truth actually is God Himself. And it's the living truth because He's one that created the Word and created the truth. And then by Him, we're governed by the truth. So we want the truth. We got to seek Him. He's the one that created it, not us.
Right.
So
Right.
when we start following the truth, and I mean going back to the root word and exploring that, what that truly meant back then. Because when you go back to His word, His truth, when you speak it in His authority, it means something. Now you have a word that creates, it doesn't return void. But when we start drifting away from the true meaning of that word and away from the truth, well, guess what? Results diminish, they get misaligned, and we get what we don't want.
Mm. Yeah. Very, very much so. Very much so. It
So,
kind of gets a little blurry.
so
Yeah.
the morality, well, you follow your heart and you believe what's right and wrong, but how do you know what morality is?
Mm.
Here's how you know morality: follow the commandments.
I was going to say, for me, it's follow the way the commandments were written. It says in Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil.
That's called chaos, and
That is.
because it's not in alignment whatsoever.
Exactly. Exactly. But you follow the commandments and you've got
Okay, well,
alignment.
so what's the
And
first commandment then? So we know this is the truth. You shall not love anything else above me. Do not idolize anything. You idolize God. All right. And the second one says, love your neighbor.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So do not worship false gods. So don't worship money.
Right.
Don't worship people. Don't worship yourself.
Mm. There's that
All those
worshiping
things.
money again. We've had that all last season. We talked about how you should not worship money. So
But because money's
funny,
just a
it's
tool.
coming right back into this
And where you
conversation.
listen, yeah, it is. Well, I'll tell you exactly how you treat money is how you treat other people.
That's right.
Are you
That's
greedy? You hold
exactly
on
right.
to it? Well, check your other relationships. Is that the same way?
Yeah.
Because you treat money correctly. It's a tool, it's a resource, it's an expansion, it's growth, it's all the right things. And if your relationship's off the money, you need to have a hard look. Because
Mm.
most of those that are chasing after money are the ones that don't have
There's that word
it.
chasing money. You
Or
know,
because you're
if
worshiping
if
money.
you didn't catch this conversation last season, go check out our last season because we've had several conversations on chasing money.
Well,
And
if I started chasing Michelle, what's she going to do? She's going to run.
yep, I'm gonna run the other way.
So,
Money
point in
runs the
case.
other way too.
Point in case. Yeah.
It runs. Okay, so let's talk about the structural drift. That's the precision loss. Okay, so let's talk about that. This affects the grammar and the thought formation. Okay, so modern language, right? Where are we
What
at?
is? Yeah. Okay. Let's. This is probably a good one. Um, what about responsibility?
Mm. It's kind of like that chasing money.
What about integrity?
Ooh, another good one. Another good one.
And
Ooh,
what about accountability?
ooh.
Let's take three.
You're hitting home tonight, aren't you? You're ready to go into this. So, which one you want to go to first, responsibility or accountability?
Okay.
Because a
All
lot of
right.
people say that those are the same.
No. All right. Responsibility. Okay. What does that mean to you? Before you and I met.
I was gonna say, you want me
Okay.
to?
Before you and I met, what did responsibility mean to you, Michelle?
Oh, let's see. Single mom, 3 kids. I gotta work. I gotta, provide. I've got to be the one who sees to it that nobody else's life falls apart. If mine does, I still gotta hold it together.
Yeah.
That was
How did
that's
that feel?
responsibility. How did that feel? That was a lot of pressure.
So that felt real good. You were responsible for making sure nothing happened,
Right.
food on the table.
We had a roof over our head, electric,
Yeah.
heat, all the above. Yes, I was it.
Okay. Did you ever think that you were responsible for something good?
Mm. Hmm. That I can tell you that thought process until a couple of years ago, that thought process never crossed my mind. Never. I mean, there was just never a thought that, I'm actually responsible for 3 beautiful children, who I've actually held together, as a family unit. I've taught the family values. I put it, I never thought that that was something that I actually was responsible for until they got older. In the past couple of years, I've realized I did
Okay. So
that.
you did a beautiful, yes, you
I
did.
did that, but you
Yeah.
don't think about that
No, you
as
don't.
you're going because you're just so in the drift of doing.
Right. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast we're
that's
going
a
to get
podcast
into.
we'll do later.
All right, that's a major one. That's going to take some time to build
Right.
the foundation, right? So you
But
can see
that was
what the
me.
drift is from that one.
Yeah.
But Michelle, you explained it very well. Okay, so let's put it into equation because I like equations. All right,
Yeah,
so
you like
my
it.
effort.
You like the math part of it.
Well, I like the math part. So my effort. All right, that's what you're saying. You're responsible for it all.
Yeah.
That okay. So it became my effort, my soul, myself. Okay,
Right.
my identity or what I thought I was equates to my worth and what
Right.
I can perform. So when I heard responsibility coming from you, I was a mother. I had to produce. I had to make it happen. That scares me.
Yeah, I was. I was
Okay, and
experiencing.
that's the wrong definition of responsibility.
Hmm.
That was reaction to social pressures and needs. Okay, that's not what the word responsibility means. It means ability to respond to a circumstance, a situation, not to react.
Right.
Uh, and
Right.
so, but the world wants to teach you responsibility is you're responsible. If you drop the ball, you don't get your butt spanked.
Right. That's exactly what the world
Okay,
teaches.
and you're
Exactly.
going to pay. And you're
And you're
going to
going to
pay
pay a
for it.
price for that
Mhm.
happening. Yes.
And corporate world's great for that. You're responsible.
Oh, absolutely. Or are they ever?
It's political realm. That's too. Everybody wants to point fingers.
That's right.
That's why we have. That's just why we have insurance, folks. Is insurance is a transfer of risk for those who want to be responsible. Because if you look at it, we're carrying responsibility all our life. All
Yeah.
right, so you really might have some insurance, take some of that responsibility off your back to pay, because that's how you actually resolve things for the most part is paying with time or money in this
Mhm.
planet, in this world. All right, so but you can do something great and be responsible for it, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You have the ability first to respond to a situation as it comes. Now, accountability is the after action report of responsibility.
I
So
hope
if you
people are listening to this because this is very separate from responsibility. And I have had so many people say, well, they're the same thing, but they're not.
Oh, absolutely not. You're
They are
accounting
not.
for the response,
Mm-hmm.
the input, and how you outputted that response to measure the result of what happened.
Right.
I'm responsible for all things in my life because I have the dignity of choice. So every choice I make, whether I choose to believe it or not, is mine.
Right.
I am responsible for it. But I'm also accountable for the action from the response in what occurred, good or bad or indifferent.
Mhm.
It's a way to go back and account for the actual action part when you respond. It's totally different. All right. So in business, all right, I'm responsible for driving sales up or improving the profitability or putting a system in place that facilitates our growth needs or maintain what we have. Whatever it is, I'm responsible. This is my responsibility as an owner in the business. Okay. I'm also as a manager, whatever hat I'm wearing at the time. Now, the accountability is after time goes by, we executed what we planned to be put in place, all right, because we're responsible for that plan. We put the plan together, we executed that plan. Now we get to evaluate how did that action work? Did it do
Right.
well? Did it not do good? How do we come back and interpret that information and make an impact on moving forward to the next step? Okay, where we get to be responsible again for taking the accountability of what the output was in measuring it and then put another response to that. So those are totally, it's like the little balls you bang, you pull up, all right, and go boom, 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 and then you get in the cause and effect.
Oh gosh, that was a perfect example.
Yeah, it's cause and effect. So we're always going like this. So you're always responsible in this life for something because you have choice.
Right.
Now, many people want to put responsibility on everybody else. That's a different story. That's an identity problem.
Oh, so yeah, here we go with the identity side
Yeah,
of things.
yeah,
So
it's an identity.
that is a huge
It's an
identity problem.
identity problem
Yeah.
because we want to accept responsibility.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to take accountability, but you're taking accountability because when people say you're not being responsible, you're taking accountability because you're never going anywhere. You're never going to grow until you accept that you are responsible. And when you make that shift, now it's time you start becoming aware, a lot more aware. And then you start growing and changing, and then you get the aha moment. I am responsible for everything. Well, that means I get to do some good stuff I'm responsible for. I get to create things I'm responsible for.
Well, I really want people to hear that because there are so many of us single parents, right, on the daily. And I really want to hone in on this for the single parent side of things because I was one, and we take on a lot of responsibility. We really do. And we do not come back and reflect on how we really are in that scarcity. Okay. We're just doing, we're not being. Like I said, we'll have another conversation about that because that's another part of it. But we don't sit back and reflect. Okay. We don't see the good of what we were responsible for as well.
She's
And
saying
that's
some very key.
important.
She's saying very key stuff here, and it's hard for me to get Michelle to recognize herself to take on small wins and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I tell you, when you start saying, "Hey, I just did something good," we'll
Mm-hmm.
celebrate that.
Right.
We're taught to always elevate the negative, not the positive, and take those small wins. We starting to win. Well, you're starting to change your identity for who you
Exactly.
are and what you're going to be, and that's a very small step that you take. So, that's excellent that you brought that up. And quit taking on responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Assume
Assume. Yeah.
responsibility. Assume responsibility for the things that you want to be responsible for, or you have to be responsible for. Don't take more responsibility. Why would you?
Many of us do because we are in the doing and not
You're
the
taught,
being.
right?
We're
Because you're taught
taught.
to.
This is a societal taught situation. You know,
It is.
it is
All
what
right.
it is.
So now we define what responsibility truly is. We
Yep.
understand what accountability to the partner of responsibility is accountability. They're intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And integrity is, if you look at the root word, it's integer. And integer in math means whole.
Right.
Right.
Oh, did
So
anybody get that math lesson there? I'm just curious. That was a great math lesson. So for all you young ones out there, that was a great math lesson for you if you didn't learn anything in high school.
It's not fragmented. It's not decimal
Right?
point. It's it's a whole integer, meaning your whole self. Are you being your whole self in the elements of responsibility and integrity?
Absolutely.
Are you
Absolutely.
being true to yourself? That's being whole. No mask, no deceptions, no hiding, no lies. Whole. I am truly whole in my responsibility, and I accept the accountability side of it, what I need to do to keep myself whole. Where did I go wrong? Where did I make a mistake? Where was I not being myself in this situation? Was I afraid to tell the truth?
Mm,
So when we start getting these three things and understand the true words of what they're meaning, we're starting to bring ourselves back in alignment because we are standing up to
right.
be whole and to be
Exactly.
in alignment. And so these actions are now in alignment. Your words are speaking in alignment. Your thoughts are going in alignment. Your actions are going in alignment. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere.
Now you're starting to shift the drift. If you're understanding this conversation at all tonight, we've given you the opportunity to see where you've been in the drift. And now, as we shift this last, 13 or so minutes of this podcast, I want
Already?
you to see, yeah, I want you to see how that drift is actually starting to make the shift because here we
We're
are.
just getting warmed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got more we're going to share with you for sure. So,
Well, that's true. I mean, this Romans 121 says their thinking becomes futile. And then what that really means is what you're building structurally is not structurally sound. It's building
right,
on sand, basically. So again, when we understand the true meanings of the word, the structure, the load bearing of the word, in the sense, what I mean by load bearing, it carries the weight structurally. And when you come out of alignment to the true meaning of the world, is no longer structurally sound. And so whatever that you speak and create and try to put together, just doing, it has a way to collapse because
right,
it's not going to support the weight.
right. And we kind of tapped in the identity side of it. Let's dive a little deeper into that, okay, before we round out tonight. Because I want to take them through the process. Okay. We've given them the beginnings of seeing where they're sitting currently in the drift, right?
Right.
They see that, right now, and I know you guys are seeing it. So be in these comments, let us know, what is it that you're experiencing right now? Is it you took on too much responsibility? You didn't realize that word actually meant more than what you've actually thought about it, or the accountability side. Let's dive into the identity, okay? Because identity can, it goes drift, it goes burnout, and then it goes to identity, right? So we're shifting in this process. This is where they're going to start recognizing. You should be recognizing at this point where you're at in this
All right. Well,
conversation.
let's take a moment for a second and let's identify a picture, if you will. Okay.
Yeah,
And we're going to look at two different versions of this picture. One that really shows caught in the drift and don't know you're caught in the drift.
right.
The other one is not in the drift, but it's very intentional. Okay. So the first one, imagine yourself at the beach, all right? You're coming to the beach, you got your umbrella, you got your cooler, you got everything, put your towel down, get set up, get your board, body surfboard or whatever, and go out. All right. I'm going out in the ocean. I'm going out 50 yards, 100 yards, whatever, it doesn't matter. So you get in there catching some waves, splash around, having fun. All right. So I'm out there for about 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. All right. I'll look up. All of a sudden, I don't see where I planted my stuff. Okay, but I'm still in the water, same place, thinking I'm right there. Nothing shifted. But my whole world shifted around me, and I didn't know it. So now I'm gonna have to come out of that water and go find where I was because I had gone so far. And that way to look at it, ship has 1 degree variance on its compass, and it's going from here to London, across the pond, as we call it. So where I end up may be Italy, or it may be somewhere in Europe, in Scandinavia on it, but I missed my mark because I wasn't able to come back into alignment and check and no checking along the way or on the beach. I didn't look up every few minutes. Hey, I'm starting drifting and come back.
Right.
So I got lost in what I was doing and didn't do a self check. And because of that, I drifted. Now I'm going to have to reground, refine, and start back to where I thought I was going to be. So there's a lot of lost time and inefficiencies. And sometimes we get in places because of drift we don't need to be in, and it causes harm. That can be
How
hard.
many of us are sitting in that drift, in that picture that was just painted for you? How many of you are currently sitting in that drift? You had a point and you planned on following that course of action. And now here we are. We're 5 years later, and you can't remember where that point was that you actually started, where you really set the intention, but it just drifted off. Where is everyone in that conversation tonight? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to have that conversation with you.
Okay, for story number two. All right. I know a destination that I want to get to. All right. Notice the picture now is I'm a fish, I'm salmon. Okay. I need to go upstream because that's where we're going to make, and that's the spot we're going to make and produce more salmon. Okay. But what I'm doing is going against the grain, going against the water. I'm fighting my way through it. I get resistance, but I'm determined. I'm intentional. I find direction to where I'm going to be. I'm jumping out of the water and I'm sighting this. I'm hopping through the drift, getting over the rocks. And I get to that spot and I succeeded in getting there to my destination. And I get fruit from that, i.e., I'm able to spawn. We have more fish. For us, when it becomes something that is desired, that's been placed on our heart to achieve, now we're going against the drift. We're no longer waking up 10 miles off course or 100 miles off course or 1,000. We're not out of sight from where we were. We can't find our families. We can't find ourselves. We can't find ourselves in our relationships because it drifted and it's gone cold and it can't be found what started in the first place. All right, but now we become intentional. So we look up, we do the responsible part, we do the accountability part. Where are we every day? Small habits, small changes every day. So we're not drifting anymore. And we see that destination. We keep working towards that destination and we get closer to that destination. Finally, we achieve it. And it all takes effort. So the choice is what I'm saying is, do you choose to drift? Or do you choose to live a purposeful life that yields something that's meaningful to you and your family and everybody around that you care about?
And I want to
That's
point
the
out
question.
in the second scenario here, this is about taking action. This is about being in action. And
Mm.
again, if you've listened to the conversation tonight at all, and if you're catching this on a replay and you missed it, go back. Just go back. But if you heard doing and you heard being. And again, that second scenario is all about being.
Mm.
So we're going to have further conversations about this. I promise you, we've got a whole year planned for you guys. So make sure you're tuning in next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. But let's go ahead because we're not complete with tonight's process. We saw that you're in the drift. Now we just spoke upon how you've got a couple of different scenarios here. Which one are you in? Are you in the being or are you in the doing? That's the question. Let us know in the comments. So, uh, moving
Let's
into the next part. Go ahead.
well, no, let's talk about a little something about being in drift and also in action too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
all right, so well, the drift and also in action also have misalignment. Both have. All right. So, what is the purpose that you're here for? What is it that burns inside of it that you want to accomplish, and what you're going to consider not work, but people call work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is where we get to have fun. We get to build stuff. But when we're not being true to our identity, what happens next is what you think you want is not really what you want. You end up burning out on things that you thought you were going to do fine with, but you get to the point where it's costing you so much, you're burnt out and you lose everything.
Yeah.
And it costs. There's cost associated to that. And it's not just for yourself, it's people around you too. So be considerate of that and mindful of it. So whatever's creating internal conflict needs to be looked at in alignment. In the drift, your words drift. Your words don't create. You're following the words, what they mean today, what you believe they mean today, but they're not what they truly mean. So when I speak those words, I am creating what I believe that comes from my mouth, that is from my heart. It is either good or bad. And so when I'm out of alignment and I speak and I don't use the right words, nothing's aligned. Well, purposeful, same. All right. If those words don't align to the creation that you're after, it's going to cause misalignment. It's also going to cause burnout. Because nothing's going to manifest that you had expected to manifest, or even at all, or something that is continuously recurring in your life because you hadn't changed your words and know how to use the right words to speak it into existence. You may have a vision of what you want it to be, but your output is causing a distortion that's not creating the vision that you want. All those things is what we have to be mindful of and understand how we speak, how we see, how we look at the vision, and how we have faith to build it or don't.
And that's
You know,
it. Do you have the
all
faith
those
to
small
build it?
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
And
the
that's
faith to
action.
build it?
Yeah. That has taken action. Faith is an action word. Belief
That's
is part of faith. They're related. Belief is what you believe. Yeah. And you really got to check those beliefs and see if they're true or not, to the line or not. Are they don't bring fruit or not? Those are all variables. But when you put action behind that belief, then you have something in motion that went from potential to kinetic energy. Is going to create something or destroy something.
Right.
So all these, there's fine things that really need to be considered that we're not taught or not shown.
We're not shown, I think. I think we're taught to a degree. I just don't think we're shown in the right aspects.
On it. So this is what Michelle and I found out. The biggest thing for us that shifted is one belief. We put our trust and belief in God. Okay. Like if He designed us, made us, and what you did,
That's right.
every cell knows everything about us. Well, why wouldn't you want to check with somebody that is a creator, that creates you, the blueprint, who has a right to decide what creation looks like?
Yeah.
Not us, not us, Him.
That was the
Who
biggest thing
is
I had to learn too, was that
have a specific
I was
purpose for
not in
you.
control. As much as I wanted to be in control, I was not in control.
No, because we had choice will, and therefore we want to use that will, and we want to be in
We
control
do.
on the seat of authority of our own life. It doesn't work that way with Him. And
I
that's
think
it.
my biggest
That's his
reality
key.
was knowing that I knew that corporate world was no longer my world. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that that was no longer, I was so rebellious in that world for so many different reasons. And if you're someone that I'm speaking to tonight, we encourage you to be in our community and see what the possibilities and opportunities are. I mean, Mindful Nuggets is all about connecting, cultivating, and thriving. Those are our three core values to what we offer here. So being in the corporate world, being as rebellious as I was, realizing that my passion was so much deeper than what that could offer. If I'm speaking to you tonight, ask yourself where you're sitting in this conversation tonight, because it is important to not allow that passion to go unseen or unheard. You have obviously something that you want to offer. And if you're sitting there in a burnt out situation or feeling burnt out, reach out. Let us, let us open up the mind. I always say that four minds are better than one. So let us help you and guide you.
Well, as long as they're in alignment,
Exactly.
they
I
might
mean,
pull
yes.
you the other
And that's the
direction.
goal.
You
That's
know,
the goal for us, is to help
there is
you
the
figure
thing
out that
about
alignment.
proximity that
Right.
determines, if you're in fertile grounds or some
Absolutely.
scorched earth grounds, type of thing.
So,
You got to be careful about that one, but
I love it. I love
So
it.
and like we turn it over to the Lord. Okay, so John is 16:13. It says He will guide you into all truth. Well, He is the truth, so He will guide you in all truth. So put your anchor into Him, into the
Right.
truth, and start working in alignment, starting with Him, and work your way down through the process. Because the truth it affects your identity. Your identity affects how you think, and how you think creates your behavior, and your behavior creates your habits, and your habits create what you see that you're living in.
That's right. That
In
was a
that order.
great step-by-step process. So if you're catching us on a replay, back that up, write that down, because many of us are wearing masks. It happens. So check the process. Like I said,
Sometimes you get a
rewind.
mask slapped on you didn't know you wanted it in the first place, but it becomes so familiar, you're just so used to it, you
You
forget
are.
it's on.
And then you start
It's,
living in your identity.
it's like my glasses I put up here or something like that, and I ask my wife, "Where's my glasses?"
Right.
It just becomes that things become so familiar, or you just play somewhere, it's just it's life, and the only way you find that out is you associate with people who come together in community that can be truthful to one another,
That's
and
right.
in a safe place that we can share things like that, not to hurt each other, but to help grow each other and make you
That's what
aware.
we've built here.
Yeah, and that's what we're about, because
Absolutely.
we want to see you free and see you as a light that you were supposed to be, that shines and not being dimmed or snuffed out by the world. There's
All
a higher
right.
version of you waiting to happen.
Well, that was your nugget for today.
I
And
think that's plural for
it
this.
is, huh?
I
What'd
think
you say?
that's plural. I think that's plural for this. There's
Yeah.
plenty of nuggets.
There was a lot of nuggets. I mean, we would love to hear in the comments as well, especially if you catch us on a replay. We would love to hear in the comments, what do you think about of the podcast, for starters? We'd love your feedback. Two, what did you think about this conversation in particular? Three, where are you sitting in the drift right now? And where do you need that guidance? Where do you need help in that respect to, again, move into your life's next chapter? Because many people are waking up and seeing that this is not where they wanted to
Yeah.
be, and they're ready
Challenge
to do
yourself.
something different.
Challenge yourself. Write down 10 words that you have a belief that's just what they mean, and then go back and compare them
Yeah.
and see if they truly have the meaning. And
Yeah.
then see how you're speaking with those words and see if is hurting you or helping you. And then start looking at things I'm not in integrity with.
Mm.
Look at your structure.
That
Look
was
at
a hard one for me.
yeah.
When I started doing that, that was a hard one for me. But you know what? I needed that reality check. And that was
challenge,
the
challenge
reality
yourself.
check
Yeah,
that set me in motion.
challenge yourself. Now, are
Yeah.
you being integrity with yourself?
Yeah.
Are you being integrity with God? If
Mm-hmm.
you believe, if you don't know God, you don't believe God, I suggest you get to know Him.
Yeah, become
It
familiar
will
and,
change
and
your
create that
world.
relationship. It's about a relationship, okay? And that's what
Always
we
has been.
speak upon here, is a relationship. We do not speak upon particular religion, because that's not the way we believe. We believe that it's a relationship between you and him.
If I may make a distinction there, religion is man chasing God. Relationship is God chasing man,
Hmm.
and that's true love,
No,
because He loved
exactly.
us first and He created us, and He wants to chase us down and give us His blessings. If you let Him, your
Yeah.
choice.
All right, everyone. We'll be back next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Thank you for being here. Please come and subscribe and dive into the comments. Let us know your thoughts, because feedback, well, guess what that does? That helps us grow, and we want to grow. So we want to be here
Or feed
for you.
forward. If
All
we want to go
right,
back, we will
everyone.
go forward, everybody.
Everybody have a great night
Yeah.
tonight.
God
We'll
bless. Thank
see
you
you
for
back
joining us
Monday
tonight.
night.
More coming. All right. Goodbye.